What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Rally Point. I hope everybody has had an amazing week. We have done some big things this week. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into our clip of the week. We took off on TikTok. So we're live on TikTok for the first time ever right now as well. So YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook as well. We have new guests on the show tonight that want to tell you a little bit about what they're doing and their mission that aligns with what we're trying to do here at Operation Intel Veteran Stories. The missions align. So, and then after that, we're going to go through my thought process on everything and what I've learned from this week. Coming up. That intro gets me every single time. I know you guys hear it every single week from me. We have launched on TikTok. It was brought to my attention to get on TikTok, and I did that this week, and it took off. So we had 2 shorts this week from things that did happen over in Iraq, and people are loving it. I think it's more so the combat footage than anything. But if I can mix the combat footage in with what we are trying to accomplish here, I'm all for it. We're getting a great audience. People are really backing what we're doing. We have been steady since August doing this. We have tried our best to really stay consistent. And thank you guys for being a part of this. I love each and every one of you. Let's get into the clip of the week. If you notice, my graphics has changed. I got over here, I have talking points. But then up here, make sure you follow us on all platforms. There's going to be more to come. I'm going to get on Instagram and then other platforms as well as we grow. But let's kind of talk about exactly the clip of the week that we had this week. Let's take a look at it.
At that point, I was like, I'm not going to send my guys out on another mission without me. There's no way.
You know, we often talk about leadership and how great leaders can get people to follow them. One of the biggest things that I can tell you is, if you've watched the Sergeant Hartman interview, it was absolutely amazing. Absolutely loved sitting down with that man and talking to him. But those words that came out of his mouth came to him after a firefight in Bakuba, Iraq, where one of the squads, 2 of our squads got ambushed, and one of his guys was with them, and he's seen Longnecker, and Longnecker's been on the show as well. He's seen Longnecker come back and what it did to him, and he said to himself he's never going to let the guys go outside the gate without him again. And he never did. That's what good leadership looks like. Not every platoon, not every squad, not every battalion has leadership. I will be honest with you. Our group had great leadership. And it shows, because if you see the men that are coming on this show, they were led by great men that kept them alive. Sergeant Hartman is one of those guys that I have the utmost respect for, and I love him to death. I'm glad that you guys are getting to see a little bit of piece of what we lived through. If you are new to this channel, our whole goal is down here below. We want to end at 22 a day. It's way too many. One is way too many. But this is a place for veterans to talk. You know, oftentimes you get into that number 22, and the reason for that is we feel shut off. We feel like we can only talk to those that know what it's like. This gives us a platform to be able to do so. But not only that, it gives civilians an idea of what we go through, what goes through our mind. So I think what we're trying to accomplish here is amazing, but also how many other people are getting to heal through this. One of the things I do like to do is the nonprofit of the week. I have highlighted a nonprofit of the week every single week that we've done this live show. For the last 3 weeks, this week will be the third week, we are going to highlight a nonprofit that means a lot to one of our guys and now means a lot to us here at this channel. Barnside Brotherhood, and you guys have heard me talk about them, but if you are new to this channel, Settle Land and Livestock, led by Jason and his wife Christine, founded Barnside Brotherhood, veteran-operated nonprofit dedicated to helping combat wounded veterans heal through equine therapy. Based in southern Louisiana, Settle family is purpose-driven and committed to serving those who have served our nation. This is Jason and his wife Christine. They're doing great things down there in southern Louisiana. And we have had 2 of our guys actually go down there. If you look there, the guy with the cowboy hat on might look familiar to us. That is Nick Crouch. He is somebody that goes down there every single day and is getting a lot out of this. If you see the lady on the horse and the guy standing next to her, that is another brother of ours, John Macaluso, who got to visit down there, and his wife Casey. They got to visit the ranch, and not only that, but they got to reunite with Nick Crouch, which Macaluso and Crouch didn't get to see each other for, I think, 20 years. So definitely, if you are in that southern Louisiana area, definitely go check out Barnside Brotherhood. They're doing great things down there. Kind of brings me into our next segment here, though. Every week I have live guests, and we have had a lot of uniform guys that we know, and we've had a lot of guys come on and talk about combat. The whole idea of Operation Intel Veteran Stories, though, is to heal through talking. Today I have something special for you guys. Let me get these guys off of mute here, and we'll bring these guys on. two at the top there are brand new to us. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Yeah, how you doing?
Okay, great. The two people there at the top, if you guys don't recognize them, that is Jason and his wife Christine, owners and founders of Barnside Brotherhood. And then that crazy guy at the bottom there, he is Nick Crouch. And tonight is something special to me, and I know it's something special to Nick, is to have you two with us. Because what Nick has went through, and I know it because I've been beside Nick getting medevaced out of Iraq. I know Nick's family very well. The freedom you guys have helped Nick with means the world to not only me, but the guys that I deployed with. So to have you guys on the show is an amazing honor. If you guys could introduce your guys' selves, that would be amazing.
So my name is Jason.
And Christine. And we've been married. We were just trying to figure it out in the break. We've been together 20 years. We were trying to figure out how long we've been married. So
A long time.
yeah, a long time.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the back history of what got you interested in starting this nonprofit. Do you guys have a background in raising horses? What was the determining factor that made you guys do this for other veterans? Because I'll be honest with you, what you're doing for that guy below you is amazing. So I just want to hear it from you guys. What gave you this idea?
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I grew up around horses and cows and in the country, hunting and fishing, all that good stuff. Never thought I would ever really get back into it. We bought a house in 2013, and the property next to us had horses on it. And reached out to the landowner, got to know him. He knew my grandfather. He was a Navy veteran. And part of me kind of thinks that he knew I needed this. Because like most veterans, I came out of the military and I went straight to work and I ran from the problems. And when life slowed down in 2020 and I was home with the kids and she went to work, it made me stop and really look at myself and what I was doing. So we spent a lot of time on the property, a lot of time with the horses. Fast forward, 21, 22, started going back to the VA. And my psychiatrist just, man, what are you doing? You're doing great. And I told him, the pandemic kind of put me in an early retirement. And I'm just raising horses now. And originally we were just going to have a few babies for the family to raise the kids around them. And he started, every appointment I'd go to, he would tell me more about what I was doing for myself with these baby horses and PTSD and how it was helping me. So early on in the early years, I didn't really buy into it a lot, if you will. I kind of didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want to sound crazy. So I started pulling people in. Christine's ex-husband is a firefighter, a retired firefighter for Baton Rouge Fire Department. Very good friend of mine. He's one of the first guys that I leaned on with it. And then I started testing it with other veterans, bringing people out. And we started Tall Land and Livestock and just kind of pushed it. And it's kind of evolved from there. In 2025 was a huge year because we knew we were going down that path to do this. We didn't know how or how big or how it was going to play out, but we knew that's the path we wanted to go to. And there was two huge moments in 2025 that kind of pushed me off of the cliff. We had a Navy veteran come out, and she had been struggling since she'd been out of the military. And after a few weeks at the barn, she said, Jason, this has done more for me than 20 years of medication and doctors have ever done. That was one big push. And then in June of last year, now 2025, we went to Fort Worth with Two Ravens Foundation, and I got to ride in the Two Ravens slide in Fort Worth at the World Show, and it was a very humbling experience. I got to meet a lot of awesome people and do a lot of awesome things, and that was really the turning point to push me off the cliff and say, we need to do this. And I think that was a turning point for my wife also. So when I brought Nick in, that really solidified it for me that this is the path we're taking, and it's happening.
I think too, just to piggyback off of the story, because you gave a very brief.
That's a brief story.
Yeah, no, it's a very brief story.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for us when it really kind of clicked was Jason had gone through therapy. He had gone down the road of the VA, and everybody has had their different experiences with the VA, good and bad. And he was hesitant about the mental health, counseling, and the therapy, that kind of stuff, almost trauma dumping. It felt like he's always talking about the same story over and over, and he wasn't getting anything out of it. And what I noticed with him is the horses didn't ask questions. They didn't expect anything from you. They just wanted your energy. And when you had to center yourself and get calm and be in the presence of these animals, it definitely changed him. And I got to see in real time, I think I told the story to Nick recently about his first time loading a young colt into a trailer, which is nerve-wracking to begin with. And he was shaking, the colt was shaking. I mean, you just see fear on both of them. And the old guy, Mr. Mickey, that 77 that helps us train, does that old school, takes a broom and pops the horse on the butt, and he runs in the trailer, and Jason's cornered, and all he says to him is breathe. And at that moment, both of them just calmed down. You could physically see the horse calm down when Jason centered himself and calmed down. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh, okay, here it is. It's the adrenaline rush. It's the calming yourself. And I think I've watched in real time a lot of these relationships evolve, because it's not guys coming out and doing therapy. It's guys just showing up and being present and having to be grounded physically in themselves and around the animals. And I think you just see this calmness wash over everybody. And so he talked about the Navy veteran, the linguist, and she was really, really struggling. And she just wanted to come and pet horses and brush horses and clean stalls and things that we take for granted. And it has turned into truly a sanctuary for people to just find themselves and calm down.
That's absolutely amazing. Not only are you, the one thing that I took out of that from both you guys is that not only are you guys helping other people, but it's helped you too, Jason. And
tremendously.
Yeah. And, we talked on the phone for about 45 minutes today, which as soon as we got off the phone, I text Nick and I was like, I like this guy. But Nick, go into what it's done for you, because I want you to talk to the veterans that, are only relying on the VA, right? Because we've all been there. Let's be honest with each other. We've all been there. But I think finding a new path and trying to actually heal instead of just talk to a psychiatrist, which I think is great. I think that helps. But I also think you need to find your own path. Like I went through a tough time myself, and finding this is what completely saved me. So finding that, I think it's more of an outlet. Tell us a little bit about what it's done for you personally.
Well, I mean, Tim, I've spoken about, my issues and what I've went through pretty candidly. I try to be as vulnerable as I possibly can because I think that's where we can help veterans from. And I've talked with Jason and Nicole, my friend Nicole and Christine about horses and now dealing with the horses and all. And like those three people, that's kind of my horse world because I'm not, I didn't grow up in it. I didn't spend my time around horses when I was a kid. I rode them as much as I could. And Nicole's horse is actually the first horse that I rode, right? Um, a fully broke horse, pretty much anybody can get on the back of it, sit down and ride around the arena and enjoy their time on it. And then I got out to Christine and Jason's place, and man, I mean, it's done miraculous things for me, and also uh, just the way that it's set up. Like when I brought Macaluso and Casey out there, Casey rode the horse the most out of the two. And I think Mac was just being there, being around the horses. I think the golf cart trip around the property to look at the mini cow and the donkeys and all that stuff, man. It's just like it's a multifaceted attack. Like Christine was talking about, there's a veteran that mainly comes out and grooms, Um, me, I don't know. I never had a bunch of brain cells, and I got less now that I have a brain injury. So I kind of went head over heels in it, and at 37 years old, I decided that I was going to start breaking colts. I don't think that's going to be the avenue for everybody, But there's going to be guys like and girls like me that want to get in there and get their hands dirty and break colts. There's going to be people who just want to trail ride. There's going to be people who just want to pet the horses, talk about them, and I think that the property is really shaping up to facilitate that for veterans from the top to the bottom, whatever experience they're looking for there. Um, and the cool thing about it is those horses that they get on the back of, me and Jason and Mickey and Thomas and Christine, we're out there working those horses 5 days a week. I'm there 5 days a week when I'm in town and it's not raining. So not only do I get the healing properties from it, but I also get to contribute back by taking some of that weight off and helping with the horses. And it's just been amazing, man. Like nothing short of amazing for me.
Yeah, and I've seen it. I mean, yeah, I went from, and by the way, this has all happened since Nick was our very first guest on the Veteran Stories. And he talked about it last week about his dealings with the VA. We're not going to get back into that this week. But from that point, one of Nick's lowest points to finding you guys and having to wrestle him out there to the ranch, okay? I heard the story, Nick. Having to wrestle him out there and what it's given him, I can see the difference in him. I can see the spark in his eye about how he wants to help the veterans as well. Jason, tell me your vision for this, because we talked about this on the phone, and I think it's important. And I missed this step in the very beginning with your introduction. You are also the commander of the Purple Heart Association down there in Louisiana, correct?
Yeah, I'm the commander of the Baton Rouge chapter of the Military Order of the Purple Heart. And that was one of those things where the majority of the members now are Vietnam veterans. So it wasn't like they didn't really vote me in. They just kind of told me I was going to do it. And it's kind of just since 2023, I've been the commander of the chapter, and the Vietnam veterans love it. And I love them because they've pushed that buck this far for us. It's our turn to take it over. And I think you and I talked about that. It's a huge avenue. It's been a huge avenue for me to learn about the VA and how to navigate it. I fought with the VA, since 2007 when I got out, and I didn't get my 100% till 2022, 2023. And I'm a Purple Heart recipient. I was wounded in combat. So when you when you think about that for a minute, like how does a guy fight for that long for disability that was wounded in combat? Um, the Vietnam veterans really helped me in that. They have so much knowledge, and I tell a lot of veterans now, like, if you're struggling with the VA, I can help you, but go sit down at the VFW, go to the American Legion, find these Vietnam veterans and sit down and talk to them, because they have a wealth of knowledge that can help us battle through these things. And it's a shame that we didn't think about that in 2008, right?
It's an absolute shame, because now looking back on it, they're the guys, all hats off to them. And hopefully I can get a few Vietnam vets on here, because those are the guys that paved the way for us. Let's be honest with each other. The biggest thing to me is those guys weren't treated good at all.
No.
They were treated terribly. But what they did for our generation is they paved the way so we didn't have to go through that.
Mm-hmm.
The way things are looking right now, we don't know what's going to happen, but we are the people that need to pave the way for the next generation, and it's our time. But we also need to sit down with those Vietnam vets and pick their brain, let them talk to us, and really teach us, because we, like you said, Jason, we missed it. We totally missed it. But what are your hopes and what are your goals for the ranch and what you guys are trying to do there? So, what are you looking to do this year in 2026, and what's the ultimate outlook on what you guys are trying to accomplish?
So I think right now it's kind of evolving as it goes. We're learning new things almost every week. Right now, for me, the biggest thing is getting more organized and getting the nonprofit more organized and set up and to where that it could start running itself, if you will. Because if you can imagine, I'm on the ranch dealing with horses all day. I would almost need 2 or 3 secretaries between the Military Order of the Purple Heart and Barnside Brotherhood, and my wife runs a company, so I can't get my daughter to do it because she helps my wife run that company. So it's right this year, the beginning of this year, I want to get more organized. Yeah, I think that's one of the big things. And after the World Show and going with Two Ravens Foundation, I really changed the direction of the discipline of horse I want to have and how I want to do that, because I think veterans could work better on that reining horse and kind of what we were doing in that world. So this year is going to be kind of pinning all that down and figuring out where we're going. And that's going to change next week, I'm sure, because it evolves weekly. It's crazy.
My husband is a veteran and he's now a horseman, which means his focus is a lot on just the pure horses. When he came home from war, the war didn't end when he got home. Just the battle and finding the words and the language to be able to articulate what he was dealing with did change, and we had to get really focused on mental health. So as just someone that didn't walk the battle, I was just here to see the fallout and how we've had to move on from there. In 2026, I do want to help continue to get my husband focused on a direction. And for us, watching from the outside, which is truly an amazing treat because you see it in real time. And I think we want to tie in mental health light, because this is not a cure to mental health, but what it is a tool for people to learn how to ground themselves, learn how to regulate their emotions, because y'all are guys with PTSD and the traumatic brain injury are still going to have the moments where things flare up, and you have to learn how to have the regulation. And coming from when we got together, 15, 20 years ago, there was no regulation. It was just like two strong personalities. Now he has a place that he can go out to. He can ride out some of his frustrations, get his thoughts clear, whatever it is, calm himself down. And so I think that's the program that we really want to lean into with the veterans, is making sure that, like Nick said, you may have the ones that are want to do the hands-on. They want the adrenaline rush. They want to know that they can go in. It's like fighting bulls. We're gonna break this cult. We're gonna do all this, or it's just a soft landing for others. And the other part for us is we're learning that there's guys in the military, women in the military. It's the camaraderie that a lot of y'all miss, and I'm noticing at the barn, there is a true, that's why it's barn side brotherhood, because there's this brotherhood that is building organically. And I think just building that community is another important focus this year. So we can see which veterans come in, what the needs are. And obviously we want to treat the veterans, but we also want to keep it open to the families and the spouses and the kids, and make it something that the language of mental health and the language of not healing, because you guys are never going to heal. This battle's going to go on forever. But where you are now as you progress is something that we will talk about every day.
And that's something that hasn't been focused on enough. It's not just for the veteran. It's for the children, the spouse, because the reality is we spent our earning and learning years fighting for our country. So when we came home from war and got out of the military, we're behind the curveball, in society. So today in 2026, going out to buy a horse, to board a horse, to feed a horse, all that stuff is expensive. So if a veteran family has a child that wants to do it, that's a strain on them. So if they bring that child out and I can put them with Nick, or, we can bring them out and let them ride a horse, that means the world to those children. And it means the world to us to watch them light up when they do it. So it's not just for the veteran, it's for the family of the veteran also.
That's an excellent point. And she's so proud of you right now. I can tell. But, it goes into something that I've said a lot on this show. You may go to war alone, but the people back at home and the people that you're going to meet after you get home are the ones that have to see what the remnants of war. I think of Matt Galuso and his wife Casey, right? I've had Casey on the show, and I think it's so important to talk to those people who have been there for their husband or their wife or their loved one that has had to see and go through, watching that person that they love go through PTSD, but then seeing how proud she is of you for what you're doing and what you're accomplishing, and the steps you're taking to not only help yourself, but help people that are going through the same thing you go through every day, like Nick. Nick, one thing that I'm seeing out of this that I absolutely freaking love, and we talk about this a lot, is the way that you your life change, right? You're sober now, and the friends that you had before wanted to drink all the time. We've talked about this. But that brotherhood that you're building there at that ranch is something that I want you to talk about, because I love it. I love hearing that from you.
Yeah, Tim. So, I'm gonna lean on my faith at some point in this, and I think this is about the right time to do it, man. One thing that I learned through my faith was that our spouses can't be the supporter of all of our burden, man. They're very important in our lives, but you can't just dump truck all of your problems on your wife. That's not what a marriage is supposed to be. And I never learned that until I started reading the Bible, and it started talking about building those brotherhoods and having a place where you can come, bring your issues, talk with people who are like-minded and mean well for you. And man, at the lowest point in my life, I found Jason and Christine. And, I think the first big conversation I had at the ranch was me and Christine were sitting on horses. The arena was kind of busy, and we just started talking, man. And it was a place where I could go to offload some of that when I needed it and not put that weight on my wife. And when I saw that, I immediately knew that I needed to be another set of ears there for other veterans. So that's what the place has meant to me, you know.
Yeah, and you have a gift, and we talked about this. We talked about this on the phone probably about 2 hours ago, and you have a gift of being able to talk to people, and they listen, and that's one of the reasons why I love having you on here. And I was telling Jason on the phone this. I said, anytime Nick brings somebody my way, I never vet them because I know that they're good people, and you know I know Nick's family. I've known Nick for years, and just seeing what he's getting out of this is something that made me go all in with you guys. Is because if it's doing that for him, I can't wait to see where you guys are at the end of 2026, and I'm going to be there right beside you guys because I want to see your guys' success. I want to work with you guys. Get you guys as much exposure as possibly we can. But not only that, as this channel grows, I want you guys to be a staple on this channel because I think that having us together is going to help a lot of veterans and then growing as well. You guys have a lot of connections down there. And the more we can get these nonprofits out there that are helping out, you know, maybe somebody just, they're not in the horse world and they just don't know about being around horses. Let's find other avenues for them. This is our chance to really grab a hold of those guys that are struggling and giving them an avenue to an outlet, I should say. And I am so happy to have you guys on this show because of what you guys are doing and what you guys are accomplishing. Do you guys have anything else that you guys want to talk about? You know, this forum is yours.
Tim, did Nick tell you how he got here the first time?
No, but I want you to tell this story because you told me this earlier, and you've got, I can't see the viewer count, but you've got guys that were from Nick's unit that are watching right now, and none of them are going to be surprised at this story. So if you could tell them this story, I would greatly appreciate it.
So I went down to a rodeo with Gulf Coast veterans, and I walked up, got settled in, and Emmerich Watson, greatest dude in the world, he comes up and he says, "Hey, you know Nick Crouch?" And I said, "Yeah, I know Nick Crouch." He said, "Nick Crouch needs you. Go talk to him." So I went talk to him, and talking to Nick, and he's telling me, you know, he's getting sober, and he didn't mention anything about the VA and all that stuff yet. I had no idea that it was the day after.
That day.
But anyway, so I'm like, "Hey man, I'm starting this thing. You need to come out. I think you can get a lot from it." And he was like, yeah, I might do that. So the next week I left some banners and such down at the rodeo. So I called Emmerich and I'm like, "Hey, I need to get those banners from you." And he says, "Has Nick come out yet?" I said, "Well, I called him and he said he might stop by." And he was kind of, I don't know, I'm going to have to call him back and relate. So Emmerich took a play out of my wife's book and said, "I'm going to get Nick to bring those banners to you." So Nick calls me. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to swing by and drop these banners off to you on my way home from work." So he swings by, drops the banners off, and he's never left. He's been there every day since.
He's hard-headed. He's hard-headed, buddy. I tell you.
Wait. Y'all all are. Let me be clear.
Not me.
I got two things. First of all, that name that Jason just mentioned, I want to go ahead and reiterate. I don't know. I didn't touch that thing. It just does. It got a mind of its own. Let's see if I can fix it. I'll keep talking while I try. But anyways, Emmerich Watson, as far as I know, in my experience with veterans and veterans getting help in the state of Louisiana, I'm going to go ahead and say he's the founding father of that. for our generation. And I believe he is maybe still in the video, but he is helping run Gulf Coast Veterans with Terry Ronquillo, who's another great American. Neither one of them veterans, have dedicated countless hours of their life. Countless. I can't even begin to even think about dedicating as many hours to veterans as they have. So I want to give him a shout out. And both the people you see sitting here are products of him and his mentorship in this. And the other thing I wanted to touch on, Tim, getting people to listen to you when you talk is easy. You just keep talking so that they can't talk.
You're not wrong.
But seriously,
that's how it's worked all these years on me. You just keep on talking
seriously,
over top of me.
I told you this earlier, and I firmly believe it, man. You know, I've always been a talker. My aunt used to tape my mouth shut with duct tape. That's no joke. My mom probably beat me 45 times. I probably had a TBI before I went to Iraq. But I've just reached a point in my life where I've decided to let the words out of my mouth be fruitful, right? And I was kind of explaining that to you earlier. And you know, like if I could only say one more sentence for the rest of my life, it would be veterans. Like, reach out, man, build a buddy group, get help. Like, we got to get better because there's going to be more of us coming. Hopefully not. I hope I never have to mentor a veteran from a war that wasn't from our war. But the way this world works, man, it's coming. So we need to start preparing ourselves for our next fight. And the only way we could do that is healing from the one that we went through.
I wanted to piggyback real quick on the Emmerich Watson, just to throw that out there. In previous life, I got to do marketing and events for Cabela's, and this was what, in 2009. And one of the things we do, people would ask for donations, like they would have these events or, you know, fishing tournaments or whatnot. And Emmerich came and started telling me what he was doing. And I got to get introduced to all types of nonprofits for all different reasons, but clearly a veterans organization was amazing. And so I said, okay, I'll give you all the donations you need. In fact, a whole truckload of stuff under one caveat. My husband has to bring it down to you and he has to participate. And he pissed and moaned and cussed me and wasn't going to drive down there. And I was like, oh, well, I voluntold you, you have to go. So he did it. And he called, you know, when you're on those fishing tournaments, you don't hear from him or whatever. And he called me on the way home with tears in his eyes. He said, I have not laughed. I have not cried. I have not shared these stories with men that understood my struggles in so many years. I've been silent. And it was at that moment that I got to see, and this is how long ago this journey has been. Now, not everybody likes to fish and hunt, or they don't have access, and horses ended up being his avenue. But I think I have to give credit where credit's due, because Emmerich has formed the relationship of getting veterans out there and introducing them, and he slows down and he gets to know each one individually and tries to connect them. And I think just like how Nick has a gift of talking, Emmerich is one of those. So if you ever get a chance to get him on the show, he's amazing. But the only other thing I would say is you guys are taught a lot that silence is strength. And really the truth is it takes a strong man to come home and talk about this stuff and to be prepared to be mentors, because I will just say right now, our son is Army Reserves he protest of him. He didn't want him to do that, but he's Army Reserve. And as a mom now, not as a wife, as a mom, knowing of what the world's kind of coming to, I think that's why we're so fiercely trying to put programs in place and speak about mental health and kind of give him the tools even before he walked into what we know that he's going to, you guys know what he's going to walk into. And that next generation of men are coming. And I think it's so important for you guys to be okay with not being okay and talking about it.
Yeah, and I think that this platform kind of opens up that gateway, and that's what I was trying to get done through doing this. I was trying to accomplish, because I knew for myself it was easier for me to talk to other veterans. It was easier for me to tell my story to somebody like Nick or somebody like a Sergeant Smith. And it was easier for them to talk to me. But what I was really trying to do was build a community to where we had each other's backs. And when that happened and everybody got behind it, and I seen the way it made me feel, but then not only that, I seen what it was doing for them as well. Because, I go back to Macaluso and Casey. Casey told me how much it had done for him. But then Macaluso told me, he was like, this is the most healing I've done in 20 years. And as you guys know, that is the best feeling in the world, when you know that everything you've poured into something is working for somebody. Even, and me and you talked about this, Jason, even if it's just one veteran, you're a success. Because that's all it is one veteran. We hope to touch a lot more veterans than that, but as long as it's one veteran, we've succeeded. And you guys.
And the way I look at it is, if 22 nonprofits can touch one veteran a day, think about that.
I love that, because that's the whole goal. I think together we can. I don't know if we'll ever get rid of that number, but we can reduce it. And all we have to do is be there for each other, help each other. That's number one. Don't, one of the big things you were telling me, Jason, was, in the nonprofit world is it's like, oh, well, I don't want to help this person because it's taken away from me. And I'll be honest with you, that's bullshit. Mm-hmm. It is, because what you're doing, if you are a nonprofit and you have, and I'm speaking directly to you right now, if you have that mindset, you're not in it for the right reasons at all, because your whole goal should be helping as many veterans as possible. And if I had a nonprofit and I knew that my nonprofit wasn't going to help a certain veteran, I would refer them over to something that will help them, because they are the number one goal for every single one of us, is to help as many of them as possible and help each other get to that goal. We're a big team in this, and I really hope that we can grow this, and we can save a lot of lives and relationships as well, because let's be honest, a lot of relationships die because of this. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, Tim, and I wanted to touch real quick on something we talked about earlier too, man. Like, veterans are coming back with PTSD, and then they're going 20 years inundated with drugs. Most of it starts at a clinical level. We'll just leave it at that, right? And then it spirals from there. My personal choice was to avoid the clinical portion of that, and I just went for alcohol. Based on things, my life history growing up around addicts and all. But like we were talking about earlier, it's a mathematical issue. We got PTSD plus addiction, and that's what's killing our veterans, right? Now, we can't address the PTSD without addressing the addiction. And that's why I'm so vocal about my sobriety. That's why I was so vocal about my addiction. Before I told people I was an addict, people didn't know I was an addict, right? Nobody knew I was an alcoholic outside of like my home. Nobody knew that I was self-medicating with alcohol. But that's the truth of the matter. Like I was devastated inside and treating it with alcohol. So, we really got to start working on this addiction issue with our veterans, and like, man, reach out to me. I may not be the perfect person to help you, but I guarantee you this, I won't sleep until I find somebody who can. So if you're looking to get help with addiction, let's get that cleared up, and then we can start working on your PTSD and stuff.
No, I couldn't have said that better myself. That's why I have you on here, buddy. That you can talk, man. But
it's also the Energizer Bunny. I don't know how he does it all now.
Yeah, I don't either. I barely can keep up with these 4 kids, let alone go to I'm telling you, he's a busy guy, but I love him to death, and he brings up some really good points, when we talk about, that addiction thing, and we're going to get into that on a different show as well. about why that is. Why do you see so many veterans leaning on medications and stuff like that? And I think us as a veteran community, if you have been to Landstuhl, Germany, or Brook Army Medical Center, or these medical centers, you know, or the VA in general, let's be honest, you know why. And I think that's a different topic we can tackle. I think that's a really good topic. But what you just said is 100% correct, Nick. I think you need to get sober and lean on your other veterans, your battle buddies to do so, and then start healing the right way. And then once you know what you're doing, help somebody else. If we can all help one person, man, this world's going to be a lot better of a place for veterans. I can guarantee you that. So I look forward to doing more with you, Jason and Christine. I'll tell you something. I'm not looking forward to coming down there in August because I'm gonna sweat my perm out. Let's be honest with each other. but I am looking forward. We are going to shoot a video down there for you guys and let you guys see what exactly what's going on down there. We are so excited to work with you guys. I'm excited to get to meet you guys sometime in August. Nick's going to get me out on the water, and I am not a water person at all. Okay,
You're going to have a blast.
If I
Jason,
can't...
Jason, we're going to have to make sure we have a colt for him. That way we can put him in the round pen on a colt. He'll be begging for the ocean by the time he's done in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I can't see the bottom, man, I don't want to even go in. That's how I am. I'm from Ohio.
Well, look, if they ask you offshore or inshore, just make sure you say inshore.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks.
his captain.
Because
Oh,
yeah. You see,
Oh, never mind.
Never mind.
You'll have fun.
I'm his captain, so.
And I don't know if I trust that just yet. So, but listen, it has been great getting to know you guys. I hope this isn't the last time you guys are on the show. I love what you guys are going and doing down there. If this channel can help you guys in any way possible, I'm on board with it. And thank you for what you've done for my brother that I love a ton, even though I give him a lot of hell. Love him to death. Thank you for giving him an avenue. I appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for what you're doing. It's just from an outsider looking in. Jason's been watching this now for a couple weeks. Nick turned him onto it, and the conversations and the positivity I hear about from Nick and seeing his story, and then just even the fact you guys are mentioning us, we appreciate it. And keep doing what y'all are doing. So if there's ever anything we can do, I know that you guys will stay connected, but you just let us know. And
Yeah, I think we're all young in this journey.
Yeah.
And we just need to lean on each other and people like Emmerich that can guide us and keep Nick out there in front talking.
I already told Jason he's the face of this. I get to have all the fun.
You don't want Nick to be the face of this. It scares everybody off.
A lot of fun watching him. It really is.
No, he's our local Riley Green. That's what I call him on the ranch. So.
Oh God! Don't.
You know, if my wife hears you call me Riley Green, she's gonna get mad at you.
I know.
I will give you some advice.
Riley Green, if you ever want to do a duet, we can do it here on Operation Intel and support some veterans, buddy.
Right.
Hey, you know what? I don't even know who that is, but Riley Green, if you listen.
Hey, he's a handsome guy. That's all I know. He's a handsome guy.
What did they tell me?
Yeah. Some say he can carry a tune in a bucket. I don't know, but he's a handsome guy. I know that for a fact because they say he looks a lot like me. So
I'm gonna give you both some advice. Never blow up his head any bigger, okay? Because he just goes with it. Listen.
Don't worry. Those horses humble him quickly. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys. Thank you guys so much for being on here. It's been an honor to have you guys on here, and I look forward to getting to know both of you guys even better and working hand in hand with you guys. And reaching our goal. Okay.
Thank
And-
you.
Thank you.
And Nick, I love you, buddy.
That's what I thought.
Have a good night,
Have a
guys.
good one, man.
Good night.
It is always so much fun to get to know these people. But not only get to know these people, get to, as I'm getting confused on which way is up and which way is down, right? Not only get to know these people, but get to make more connections. Somebody that sees the vision that we see. Somebody that is working for the same goal that we're working for. And not only that, but get to talk to one of my brothers and see him, and the way that this has changed him is just, I can't say enough about it. I thought that was an important segment for you guys to see, because there might be somebody that's watching right now, and I'm sure there is, that is struggling. There are avenues out there. I'm not talking about the big corporation foundations and stuff like that. There are actual veterans out there that want to help. I am one of them. Barnside Brotherhood is one of them. And we have highlighted these nonprofits now for, I don't even know how many episodes we've done at this point. But I think it's really important to get their names out there. And, you know, we talked about this a lot. Is that number 22? And if we can help just one veteran, if we could lower that number to 21, 20, we're making progress. And as long as we're making progress, we're doing things the right way. It's the whole thought process behind Operation Intel Veteran Stories. It's the whole thought process behind the rally point. I cannot see the chat right now. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Reach out down there. If you guys, he's wanting to grow, and he didn't say this, but he mentioned it to me. He wants this to grow, not just down in southern Louisiana. He wants to grow it in, you know, other places as well. And we're going to be there right beside him, doing everything that we can to get his name out there as this channel grows. What you guys can do is, when we are live, share these, you know, podcasts. Share it to your feed. Share it to somebody that needs to hear it. That's the only way we can get to these people. Another thing, there is now a subscribe button on Facebook. We did some big things in the last 3 weeks, and there's a subscribe button. I want to go over that subscribe button with you guys. It gives you highlighted comments. It also puts you into a community. One thing that I want to do is I want to take questions from you guys. So once that grows, I'm going to take one question a week from that community, and I'm going to ask it to our guests and get that answer for you, and maybe even do a topic that you guys are wanting to hear about. This is the way I'm trying to grow this channel, is by thinking outside of the box. But this isn't just my thoughts. This whole channel has came from combat veterans. So yes, I may be the face in front of the camera, but there's about 40 guys behind me that have really tuned in every week, has really had my back. And I think I may have something special for them coming up, and I hope I can get it done for them, because I think it's going to be something really cool and they're going to really appreciate it. But I hope you guys had a great... My computer's going crazy right now. But I hope you guys have had a great weekend. I hope you guys have a great week. Happy New Year, by the way. I'm going to be getting off of here. I love each and every one of you guys. I hope you guys, like I said, have a wonderful week.